So if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking of living in Dumbo in New York City. Now, Dumbo is definitely, I would say, like one of the more famous Brooklyn neighborhoods, at least for people who don't know Brooklyn very well. So what makes Dumbo so famous? I would say the Brooklyn Bridge for sure, even though the name of the neighborhood of Dumbo stands for down under the Manhattan Bridge overpass. When I say that, I even have to think about what I'm saying because it's so long and ridiculous. But the name of Dumbo is not even about the Brooklyn Bridge, it's about the Manhattan Bridge, which is also right there in the neighborhood. But a lot of people associate Dumbo with the Brooklyn Bridge so technically when you're walking over the Brooklyn Bridge on the Brooklyn side, you're overlooking Dumbo. So because of all the traffic coming from the Brooklyn Bridge, there are a ton of tourists in the neighborhood. And it's a very gorgeous neighborhood with amazing views of Manhattan. So it makes sense that there would be so many tourists that come through here. However, you don't really get a work crowd. Like commuters don't really come through the neighborhood. It's really just tourists and people that live there because there's not really much office space in Dumbo. A little bit, but not much. You're gonna have a lot more of the commuters coming from downtown Brooklyn because there are a ton of offices over there. So you might have some of that like spill out into Dumbo, but not really. I would say that most of that is staying in like the neighboring downtown Brooklyn, which is a neighborhood. So there are a lot of new construction condos that have been built in Dumbo over the past like few years, and the views from these condos are unbelievable. Like nothing I've ever seen before. It's actually crazy. So you have a lot of people who are looking to buy specifically in Dumbo because there's a lot of really great options there, especially for people who are just looking for new construction. Now, it is a waterfront neighborhood, like I said in the beginning of this video, and I love waterfront neighborhoods just because there's nothing like walking along the water. And I especially love waterfront neighborhoods that have amazing views of Manhattan because like there's only a few neighborhoods that really have truly great views of New York City, or of the Manhattan skyline at least, and Dumbo's definitely one of them. So the waterfront area is really, really great in Dumbo, and the views you just can't beat. Dumbo's not a very big neighborhood, but a lot of the buildings there are kind of like converted old warehouses, so there's a lot of history in Dumbo. And also, over the past decade too, Time Out Market has opened in Dumbo, which has also drawn a lot of traffic, even more tourist traffic to Dumbo, because a lot of people go there for Time Out Market. I actually really like Time Out Market. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a food hall that is ran by the media company Time Out. So it's not a New York City specific media company. They're in pretty much all cities across the world, but they do focus particularly on each individual city. So Time Out New York is running the Time Out Market here in Brooklyn, and it's really, really great. It's filled with all these different like local eateries, bakeries, so it's just a really great spot to go to if you want to be able to try like a lot of different New York City foods at once. And also the views from Time Out Market are insane. So there aren't a lot of places in New York where you can get like fast casual food, but also have an amazing view while you're eating it. So that's kind of unique. I really like going to Time Out Market a lot. Also, if you haven't been to Time Out Market, if you go to the top floor of Time Out Market, they have a like really casual like bar that is overlooking the waterfront, which is like really cool too. So there's not really any nightlife in Dumbo, but there is a lot of like fine dining or some casual dining with Time Out Market being there, some other like places, and then also there's a lot of pizza places there too. There is like fast casual dining and fine dining, not a lot in between. There are a few places that are more like affordable in between, but you're pretty much, that's gonna be like pretty much your spread of the neighborhood. There's no nightlife there. And the other thing that is really famous there is Dumbo House. So if you're familiar with Soho House, there is also a location in Dumbo called Dumbo House, and it's a private membership club where you'll have access to the like clubhouse and the restaurant there and the rooftop pool. So that's the difference too. That one has a rooftop pool. So I've never been there, but I mean, I've heard that that's a great location. So some people who live in the neighborhood also are members of that club. Now, I do have to say too, as I mentioned, they do have a lot of pizza options. They have underratedly like really good pizza options there. So if you're looking for like a pizza neighborhood to stop by, like Dumbo is actually kind of like underratedly a really good pizza neighborhood. So overall, I think that if somebody really, really loves views of the Manhattan skyline or wants to live in more of like a newer construction place, but kind of like a quieter neighborhood, Dumbo could be a really good option for them. So if somebody's looking for like nightlife in Brooklyn or wants like a late night bar scene, I would say that you might want to go to some other neighborhoods. Williamsburg, Bushwick might be more like what you're looking for, because Dumbo is definitely not like a late night neighborhood at all. It's not a vibe there, but you're also extremely close to Manhattan, so you can easily get in and out of the rest of the city. These are all just things to consider. Now, I hope this helped you figure out if you should live in Dumbo or not. So I would love to hear from you guys in the comments if you would ever live in Dumbo, or if you're in the process of moving there right now. I think that when you guys share your stories, it really helps other people in the community, and that's why I created this channel. So as always, I love hearing from you guys.